What's up, gamers? The Oppenheimer of Donkey Kong Bananza here, coming at you with some crazy speedrunning news. So, a couple days ago, with the help of the Bonanza Discord, we might have taken things a little bit too far. So I wanted to make this video to not only show off the new tech, but to also talk about just how we even got here in the first place, what's been going on in this monkey game, and we'll be flying in no time. Alright, so it all started out with the fast aerial turf surf, better known as FAT. A FAT is composed of having a chunk in hand, followed by a jump, a turf surf startup, and any attack. If you do each input very quickly after another, you will get this. You can see it's a huge burst of speed and can be used to get up on ledges and can shoot you in any direction. The next evolution of the FAT would be the AFAT, or Aerial Fast Air Turf Surf, similar to the FAT, but better suited for traveling upwards at high speeds and reaching terrain that a normal FAT might struggle with. I'd say these are the bread and butter of DK's moveset at the moment, but there's a few more cool strings and tech that are possible, but I'd like for this video to not turn into some big tutorial, so I've linked TWIRLY'S guide to FATs and AFATs in the description, which also includes stuff like chunk triple jumping, as well as other trick jump sauce that aren't quite relevant to today's discussion, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. Once I was able to get the hang of FATs and AFATs down, as well as some surfing swag, I was able to crank out this strip of movement in the canyon layer, which went pretty viral on Twitter. The goal was obviously to be sick, but really just to showcase what was possible with this tech, and to show how useful they are for going fast. And yes, I'm forcing you to watch the rest of this clip, and I know a lot of you already saw it, but it's too damn sexy, and I hope you enjoy this while you can, because oh boy, you guys aren't ready for what's about to happen next. Alright, now here's where shit gets real. MUI dropped the double AFAT tech in the Discord, and this is where the floodgates open. While on the upwards motion of an AFAT, if you cancel your turf surf, go back into turf surf immediately, and input the final jump plus attack, just like a normal AFAT, you will perform a double AFAT. Being very comfortable with FATs and AFATs already, I was able to pick up on the inputs immediately. Not sure how this flew under the radar initially, but I'm gonna assume it has to do with the fact that AFATs are still relatively new, and with how many inputs are involved, it can kind of get confusing. And perhaps we weren't willing to believe we could just straight up fly with just Donkey Kong yet. And then I thought, what if you're simply just fast enough and you just chain the same inputs really quickly again, following the second AFAT? And voila, I have done it. I have discovered flight and ruined Donkey Kong Bananza speedrunning forever. And thus, the Infinite FAT, or now known as the IFAT, was born. So what does this imply for the future of any percent speedruns? Well, to start, the ostrich, yeah, he's gone. And it looks like we'll be taking the freezer layer path in the divide, and IFAT all the way to the tower, and then just clean up the bosses. A little sad since forest is probably my second favorite layer after canyon in terms of movement. Also, speaking of canyon movement, we still do get Kong and Elephant Bonanza, as they currently seem to be hard-coded into the game, with the Kong Bonanza being needed to leave Lagoon, and to be able to leave Tempest Layer, we have to use the Elephant as far as we know. The thing with IFATs is they are very difficult to perform, since it requires you to repeatedly press ZL into jump plus attack over and over again in a very precise rhythm. For the music people out there, I find around 210 to 215 BPM 8th note triplets to be consistent at the moment. I'll include a couple beats I made in the description that might help you with the timing. Also, quick side note, you don't have to AFAT or double AFAT to start IFATing. I like to input one initial Z press, then start the triplet combo in this order. For how many inputs you're going to need to get across large gaps, it's going to require a lot of stamina, and for some, a more comfortable button layout. For those not aware, in the Switch 2 settings under accessibility, you can swap buttons to wherever you want on any controller. So far, runners have tested many different button layouts, but I couldn't tell you what the most optimal one is, since it will largely come down to personal preference and comfort. A layout I've been experimenting with that Limcube came up with, which has punch and jump mapped to L and ZL, and ZL mapped to R for a motion like this. I'll be experimenting with other layouts, and perhaps you might want to come up with your own since there are endless possibilities, and I would encourage checking out other suggested layouts in the Bonanza Discord to find the right one for you. Also, you're able to have multiple controllers in use for one player, so you don't have to learn the whole run with a weird button layout, and you can just swap controllers for whenever you need to perform the trick. So, say you're in the middle of your god-paced speedrun, and you drop even just one of these inputs, you can't save yourself, and you'll just fall to your death, making this trick extremely risky in runs when going over large death planes. Part of me loves this kind of stuff because it introduces an extreme level of risk-reward to the game, turning certain areas that we once just soared over with the ostrich into a whole different beast, and making runs, especially into late game, way more intense. But on the other hand, with this tech potentially being littered all over the run, unless you understand what's happening, it's likely to turn off a lot of runners from the game, and due to it being intense on the hands and not so beginner-friendly, a leaderboard split is currently being discussed since this trick alters the run quite drastically, and let's be honest, might not be the most fun thing to watch since you kind of just beeline most things. It's going to be interesting to see how the trick is handled by the community because it's technically not a glitch and more so of a movement exploit, at least in my eyes. And it opens up a bit of a can of worms since if double AFAT exists, do we just cap it at the double? What about a triple? Will Nintendo come in and patch this? Will that mean AFATs will just be gone too? Is this even patch worthy at all since little Timmy will probably never even do this in his casual playthrough, so why does it matter? Unless he watches this video, of course. But whatever happens, I'm sure the community and DKB speedruns will still thrive because this game truly is amazing, and it's fun as hell to move around in, and although I haven't done full speedruns myself of the game yet, I'd probably still be interested in both categories, you know, the one in the air and on the ground, or whatever they decide to call them. If you have any questions about anything Bonanza speedrun related, be sure to check the Discord and I and many others can give you a hand. Thank you so much for watching, and once again, all relevant links will be in the description. And as always, stay cute, stay wonderful, stay lit, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next year. Peace.